And then the next step after that will be to open up the interoperability in the app for those licensors or artists who have allowed their assets to go out. And I just bring this up because I don't want people to think that as soon as Immutable goes live, the interoperability is going to be in place. That development is underway, but obviously we need to get the migration rolled out, everything running and working fine with that. And then the very first thing that'll be coming out next with regard to Immutable will be the interoperability within the product. So just to give users a little bit of a heads up, it's from our perspective on a development side, this is a big upgrade to the system. So we want to get the first phase out of the way, which is migration. Make sure that everyone knows what they're doing with the token swap, etc. And then we'll move straight into the interoperability, because I know everyone wants to sell their Da Vinci Pride for $5 million on OpenSea.
minimum. Yeah. Minimum. And just while we're on that topic, so obviously people with tokens will need to perform some actions and swap their tokens. But as a VeVe user, am I correct that the user experience really shouldn't see any interruptions? Will we need to take the app offline for any amount of time to upgrade these things, or will it be generally uninterrupted?
Yes, that's a great point, Rhys. We will be taking the app offline for the final stages of the migration. So I don't anticipate that the app will probably be down maybe 3 to 4 hours, potentially less than that. And yeah, that's just the last phase where we basically do, massive upgrade to the back end once we've gone through the process of minting and migrating all of the records, etc. over. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be sure to send out solid communications around when that's going to happen.
Absolutely, yeah. That's we'll get that out there for sure. Now, another thing people are waiting on for Immutable is to find out about the new utilities and what we're going to do with the Omi token. Now, I know you and I have a bit of work to do to put some info together. Do we have any sort of ETA or updates we can give people on token utility?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm actually, Rhys, I've been doing quite a lot of work in the
Fantastic.
background. So I think I've pretty much basically written the article. So
that's what I like to hear.
I'll just need you to go through and give it the Rhys once over for me.
Perfect.
But yes, by the end of September, we will be releasing our article on the Omi utility coming to VeVe. Very excited about that. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. I obviously hoped that it would be in place before now, but we've been dealing with this crazy growth spurt since January, which has presented numerous points of excitement and challenges. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, just so people know that it's coming. And I think we've got a pretty solid offering when it comes to Omi utility in the app. So please keep your ear to the ground and keep an eye out for that announcement.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to getting that information out. And similarly, the Master Collector program. We're looking to release some info about that pretty soon as well.
Yep, exactly. So same deal. We really started development on the Master Collector program, way back in like October last year when we first launched. And then of course, the shitstorm that is VeVe happened back in the beginning of the year. So and that kind of put a little bit of a hold on the development of the Master Collector program. But in hindsight, it's actually been very valuable that now, I've been able to go back and revisit it over the past couple of months and really just build it out based on, a lot of user data. We've pinged a whole bunch of people in the community to get a good understanding about, what their expectations for Master Collector program are. And again, I think I'm very excited to get that out as well, because it's going to be a very cool feature.
Just on that, I know that we contacted a few people in the community. Were their expectations generally in line with the plan that we had already put together?
Well,
Is
it's
that
almost just a copy paste into the article.
we just leaked it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that,
which is
yeah.
which is great. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's always good to know that. I mean, obviously, we're very well. We try to be very in tune with what our fans and users want. So it's good to get that understanding that that what we're envisioning on our side reflects with the community expectations.
Yeah. That's definitely the sentiment that I find as well. So that's very positive. Now, I only have a few more things left on here before we jump into community questions. Any VeVe verse updates?
Yes, so likewise, and as I think I might have mentioned in a couple of previous AMAs that prior to Marvel month, there was a lot of work going on to get that month underway and behind us. And now that we have, I've had a lot more time to spend. Continuing to scope out what the VeVeverse is. So I think I might have touched on in previous AMAs that within the VeVeverse, yes, you will be able to buy land. Yes, there will be avatars and they will be customizable. You'll be able to buy, NFT related accessories and upgrades, some of which will be branded, some which won't be branded. And again, also a lot of other kind of utility around OMI in the VeVeverse. So, for example, when we when we eventually sell the land, you can purchase that with fiat if you want to, but you can also choose to purchase it with OMI. And that OMI will be basically any OMI spent on land or really anything that's sort of non-IP that we don't have obligation on will all be burnt. So the whole idea is to implement these cool features that and products that people want, and to really just start to diminish that circulating supply.
Yeah, really create that scarcity, which is all based on demand. We have a very sustainable model and system, so it's nice to see all of that really coming together and starting to take shape. September drops I have on my list actually, Dan. How have you participated in any of these comic drops this month? Have you had any luck?
Comic drops, I've actually given up, to be honest. Hashtag Team Common got to me. So I think I took a break this week. For the 10,000 edition, I didn't bother waking up at 3 a.m. for that one because I knew it would be next to impossible.
Exactly. Actually, just while we touch on that, I have had a few questions this week as to why we chose to reduce those edition numbers, or why Marvel chose to reduce them. Do you want to add a little color there?
Yeah, so the whole idea there is, really just to add a bit of collectible texture to the comic offering. Obviously, we could continue to release all of these comics at 30,000 or 30,000 plus editions. But, when it comes to collecting and collectibles and including collectible comics, it's good to add a bit of texture into the collectability. So there is some content that's coming out that is very rare or very hard to get, and we'll continue to do that. Both on the collectible side and on the comic book side. So for the Marvel comics anyway, you can assume that the majority of the comics come out will be around 30,000 editions, but we will be sprinkling in some of these. I think the coin we termed was super rare, or for these very low runs. And big congratulations to anyone who got any of them, even if it's a common, because it's still pretty low.
Yes, it was. We saw that in the market. I think people had kind of priced in that rarity, which was really cool to see as well. Just a bit more texture to the market, as you say.
Super limited edition, for sake of clarity. I don't want people to think we're adding another rarity.
Right.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, we don't want to get that confusion out there.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Alex. Thanks for jumping in on that. What else have we got? NYCC. What does that stand for?
NYCC, New York Comic Con.
What have we got going on?
So I won't touch on it for too long, but I just wanted to give people a heads up that early October, I believe it's the first week of October, that we will be Not necessarily partnering with New York Comic Con, but we will be having a whole range of cool drops throughout that Comic Con week, similar to the previous Comic Con over on the West Coast. So, just a heads up, stack up those gems and get ready for the offering. We've got some really cool content coming out.
And they will be con exclusive tags?
They will be marked as con exclusive, yes.
Nice.
And they will all be more lower run than you would typically see.
Yes. So chaos is what you're saying. That's what that week
basically,
will be. Yeah. And then last thing I have here is Gemgate. I guess we have a new.
Well, Gemgate is what I coined. So when I mentioned Gemgate, I'm referring to the small bug that we had, which resulted in certain users getting more gems than they had paid for. Now we understand that was a bit of a surprise for users, and may not have created the most positive sentiment. But obviously, as a business, if extra product goes out the door without being purchased, we need to make we need to make up for that. And so that's the reason that we decided to move ahead with that. But as I mentioned, we do understand that it has created some frustration in the community. So for all of those users who have been affected, we will be gifting them a free secret rare sometime around the end of the month. It's very similar to what we did with the the Ultraman comic cover secret rare giveaway that we did to some users that were affected by some issues earlier on in the year. So it's really just a bit of a thank you and an apology for the frustration. And we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure people will be more than happy with that result. And just on that note, guys, we have the list of those users. So please don't send me messages demanding free collectibles. As much as I would love to give them out, obviously I do not have that power. Perfect. All right, that's all the big ticket items. I will just reset the room again. Big welcome to anybody who is new to our community or new to our AMAs. We do try to run these every 2 weeks now, and usually half of our team will get on board for it. If you need or would like to ask a question, you can just request to speak, and Alex, myself, or Noah will go through this list and try to get to as many as we can. We will dive into some questions that were submitted via the Twitter post now, because that may cover a lot of questions that people have waiting. And then we'll open up the floor as we get towards the end of it. So, Alex, I think you have a list amalgamated.
I do. We'll first spend some time on comics questions, since we were recently on the subject, and I think we have a lot of these questions that will cover a lot of what people will ask by coming up on stage. So I'll kind of go through these, and then in the meantime, maybe Rhys, pull up one or two people on stage, and we'll kind of flip back so that we have a nice mix of in audio and read questions. So
perfect.
Starting off with several people asking, there were so many, I just kind of put several people ask, will there be DC digital comics on VeVe?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And that is not a confirmation or an approval. We'll just have to see what the future holds.
Got it. Okay. Nate asks, can you organize the comics a little better, perhaps by having the comic, and then if you click on it, you can choose from the 5 different rarities?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, as Rhys mentioned earlier, this is comics version 1, and we will be continuing to iterate it to improve things like better organization. One of the reasons we haven't rolled that out just yet is because we have a fairly limited number of comics released at the moment, and we have a bit of a target number in mind. And once we reach that release number, we'll start to roll out some additional features which will just help you better organize the comics. And actually, on that note as well, we have made some updates and improvements in the app to get rid of that damn annoying switcher bar, which nobody seems to see. Yeah, I'm glad to see the back of it. So one of the it could be in the next app rollout. I'll have to double check with the team. But the first step will be, number one, just integrating comics into your main collection screen. So you'll basically see your showrooms, then you'll see your collectibles, then you'll see your comics, and then any comics you're reading will always be first in that list. And then, like the other features within the collection, you'll be able to click the see all to go through and then see your full list of comics. So that'll be the first rollout in terms of the switcher bar removal. And then that will be shortly followed by the store as well. And within the store, the other update that's coming into that with integrating comics is that we'll have a nice big banner show up in the coming soon drop section, or in the drop section for comics as well. So, really the feedback that we had from the community is that they were a little bit hard to find. A lot of people were expecting to see them on the store page. We had a couple of limitations when we were rolling the comics out, but yeah, please be assured that we've been working hard to sort of integrate comics into the store and the collection, just so they're a lot easier to access.
Awesome. That's great news. I, for one, am very happy to hear that. And then kind of similarly, a similar question in that same vein, Jordan asks, when you click to notify for comics, it does not show up in your wish list. Can this be fixed?
Yes, that is on the list as well. There's just a few kind of UI updates that we need to make in order to get the comics showing in that wish list section. So yes, that is absolutely on the roadmap.
Awesome. Okay, and actually that took care of several other comic questions. So thank you for that, Dan. One other question, and then we'll go back to the stage. Crypto Baby asks, how are the comic covers selected for each rarity? Does Marvel select them, or is it a joint decision with VeVe?
That all comes from Marvel. So basically, the comics are broken down into certain percentages, as an X% common, X% uncommon, and so on. But we work very closely with Marvel, on a weekly, if not daily basis, to establish the rarities, the cover types. So yeah, Marvel are a very, very involved partner, which we love, and they provide a lot of sort of good guidance on how we should be distributing these rarities. And that's why you see the rarities of the comics are quite different from the collectibles, where with the comics, the majority of them are common, so at least you can get in there and read it if you're lucky enough to get one. But then obviously, you have that 1 in X chance of getting one of the sort of rare covers. So yes, TLDR, basically that information comes from Marvel.
And just kind of further to that, we have a lot of the classic comics and some of the more modern comics. So that's why you see a reason why you see more variation a lot of times in some of the modern comics is because there's actually more variant covers that exist in the physical world in those later years. So
that's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, obviously, comics these days do come out with variant covers. So yeah, I think I touched last time that we have two categories of comics coming out from Marvel. One is Marvel, I think it's called Marvel Classics, which is basically anything before, I think it's 1990. So that's your Marvel #1s, your What If #1. And as you mentioned, Alex, back then there wasn't this huge big comic industry, so often there aren't as many variant covers to go around for those particular issues. However, as always, we're monitoring the feedback from the community, and we discuss that with Marvel very in depth, and that's why you've seen over the last few drops, or probably over the past couple of weeks, there is some further variation even in the classic comics. So it's and that's something that we can expect to continue moving forward.
Awesome. Okay, I think we'll bring up some people on stage here.
Yep.
Yeah, please
We've got a couple already.
Yeah, awesome. Please do limit your question or limit yourself to one question so we can try to move through as many people as possible. I know that a lot of people are waiting and have requested. I see a large queue here. So we want to try to get through as many people as possible between here and the Twitter submitted questions. So thank you very much. With that, Rhys, who do we have?
Yes, let's throw to Crypto Kaki. Welcome, brother.
Hey man, appreciate y'all bringing me up. Mine isn't so much a question on AMA. Well, I guess it is. So on the collectibles, and it's a reason why I'm asking this question. On the collectibles, you said that you guys on y'all end can see the transaction history. This was like a few AMAs ago, where you were saying, if someone, let's say a celebrity, had owned a collectible and he traded it, and we would be able to see and verify that that person owned that collectible, and that could increase the value in it. Is there a certain limit as to how many names can be on that particular collectible? As far as keeping track, is there like a 10 name limit, or is that seen, or will that be displayed if we wanted to dig far enough to see if it had been exchanged through 20, 30 people?
Yeah, great question. I was actually talking about this morning with Trevor, who's holding all of his comics. Trevor, if you're listening, he thinks everyone's going to want to buy his comics because Trevor owns them.
We all know this is Team Rhys, just so we're clear.
Yeah, right, yeah. But no, to answer your question, there won't be any limitation. Really, the records will basically show everything. And obviously, we anticipate that, these comics, well, I mean, not anticipate, they are going to last, for many, many years into the future. And there will always be a historical record of ownership with no limits.
Awesome. So that's perfect. So we know what your favorite collectible is, right? So I was thinking because VeVe has changed and will continue to change a lot of people's lives. And it's hard to kind of give back to the people that are kind of controlling it. And because y'all got access to a lot up there. So I was sitting back thinking, what can I do for the team, for you guys, for coming down and doing this AMA? So I thought that what I want to do, I know your favorite collectible is a Todd McFarlane. So what I'm going to try and do, and since we got a great showing in here, at some point I'm going to figure out and put a post out on people that want to sign this NFT. So I'm going to donate one of my personal Todd from the Todd Father. I'm going to donate, and we're going to pass it around the community and get as many signatures as we can on the honor system, and end up gifting it to you, Dan. We're going to do the same thing for Rhys, the same thing for Alex, and the same thing for David. So you guys think about what collectible you would like signed by all of us, and we'll definitely make it happen.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
In fact, I just realized that I've changed my my favorite now as a Donnie.
It's the Donnie.
Donnie.
All right. I'll liquidate my account, bro.
So I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You're an OG from way back, so always loved your support.
Appreciate it.
You're
man.
also a brave man for relying on the honor system.
Yeah, no, it's a great community, man. There's you're gonna have to KYC for sure.
Right on.
All right,
Thanks, Kaki.
I'm done.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Oh, one more thing. If you do see someone named Sean, definitely bring him up. We was in community spaces and was discussing something earlier. He has a disability, and we wouldn't mind him bringing, speaking directly with y'all. Only 50.
I think Donkey submitted that question via Twitter.
Appreciate it.
I think Donkey submitted that question via Twitter.
He did, exactly.
We can address that now. Yeah, so I guess
awesome.
So the question is,
okay. Yeah, I'm done.
A visually impaired question. A Twitter friend that has very poor eyesight made the mistake of selling 2 secret rares this week at about 100x below the desired price because of poor vision. He couldn't see the decimal point. Could there be an extra confirm screen or accessibility options added in the future?
Yes, I think what we'll do is look to add more accessibility features in there. There already is kind of two confirmation steps, when listing a collectible or a comic, where, first step you enter in all the details, and then it pops up another confirmation screen before you actually list it. So we probably won't add a third one in there because it might become a bit cumbersome. But absolutely, point taken on the the readability side of things. So let me make a note of that and see what we can do on that front.
And thanks, guys, for bringing that up. That is, I was in one of those spaces where Sean was speaking, and I love to hear the community rallying behind somebody who really wants to be part of this family. And shout out to all you guys for sure.
Yeah, always big shout out to the fam. And just so people know, when I'm bringing people up on stage, I'm trying to get a nice mix of obviously OGs. Love to hear your questions and feedback, but also to give anyone that might be new to the community a bit of time to have their voice heard as well. So on that note, Alex, do you have another pre-submitted question, or do we want to?
Yeah, I could do one more. So we'll go, since we're into the app features. Let's go with JX Legacy asking, can you make it where users can switch between a light and dark mode in the app? For all you dark-hearted people out there that love everything in dark mode.
Yeah.
Yes, and as if anyone knows any developers, they'll know that their entire desktop is always in dark mode for those 3 a.m. coding sessions. No one likes a bright white screen at that time of the morning. Now, it is something that we will address at some point, but it does require quite a lot of updating on the front end of the app. So it'll more than likely happen when we go through and make some significant upgrades to the UI in the mobile app. And at that point, we can do a dark mode and a light mode. Although in saying that, I thought I might have seen some screenshots with the colors inverted. So there might be a way to do it. I'll have a bit of a dig in and maybe ask the developers if there's some way to sort of hack the system at the moment. But
on the device level?
Yeah, well, maybe not device level.
Well, no, I mean by accessibility settings, or just like turning your brightness.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, there might be something like that, but potentially limited to device or OS. So let me look into that, and I will absolutely include the light dark feature in our next major UI update.
Nice.
All right,
that answers that. All right, we might go to a couple from the floor, and then we'll come back to some of these. So, Mr. Ryan Romantech, I believe you are up and waiting. I don't know how your phone still works with all those showrooms, but
hello. My hands are sweating more right now than they do on a drop day. So nervous. Thank you guys for so much. Everything you guys do, I'm so addicted to creating these showrooms. My question real quick was to the showroom version 2.0. Are we going to still be able to create like entire showrooms outside of the showroom, or are we only limited to building inside the new showroom?
Yeah, great question, Ryan. Initially, we were going to limit it, but then, really looking at the amazing creations that people do, we felt that it would put too many restrictions on that creativity. So you can anticipate that the new version 2 showroom will basically function in the same way as the current one, but will just obviously look a little bit better. And for those of you who have seen some of the early renders or video that we've put out on Showroom V2, you'll notice that you can walk out onto a balcony. Now, we have opened up a small gap in one of the railings, like a barrier. It's like an invisible barrier gap. So you will be able to walk out into the big sort of skybox area and continue to place your collectibles out there at 50 times the size of the showroom, if that is your desire. But in addition to that, when Showroom V2 does roll out, there will be the second type of showroom, which is called an empty space. And that effectively has all the same functionality as the showrooms now, except there is no showroom. So that means that you basically have a blank canvas in which you can basically create from scratch. So there will be that option as well for users who want to get a little bit more creative outside of that that showroom space. And the other reason for creating these empty spaces is that we obviously still have the accessories feature in development where, for example, in this empty space showroom, you might be able to add things like, urban objects like, dumpsters or maybe old buildings, or perhaps you want to add some rocks and some trees. And then you can place all of your collectibles in these kind of digital dioramas, so to speak. So I'm very excited to see, to have that one come out, because I think we're going to see, another level of creativity from amazing showroom creators like you, Ryan.
Wow, that is so awesome to hear. Thank you so much.
Just keep those showrooms coming, mate. They keep us working.
Will do.
Appreciate it. Thanks, bud. We might throw
Thanks,
to Cam Jermaine next, if you would like to jump in, and then maybe to Droy.
Thanks, guys, for taking it. So I'm kind of new to VeVe, so this might be a dumb question, but bear with me. So basically, for a comic book drop, if I get it right, I get edition number 1,000. Does that mean I was the 1,000th, buyer, and I just clicked buy too slow, or is that just completely randomized? Realize that could be a bad question, but just curious.
No, great question. There's no dumb questions in here. The edition numbers are completely randomized. Back in the early days, they were sequential. So if you were first in, you would get the lower mints. But again, after listening to a lot of feedback from the community, we decided to randomize the mint. So you could be the 30,000th person to get a comic, and you still could potentially get a sub 1,000. So yeah, they're completely randomized.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys being so transparent about everything. You guys are great.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Cam.
Really appreciate it. Mr. Droy, if you are up here and would like to join the conversation.
Yeah, really great. Guys, at first, really my respect. You're one of the blockchain companies that is making a difference, especially in communication and what you are doing. So at first most, my respect to you. It's been a great experience from the start on. And being so involved with the community. My question, because we have such a great community and people around us, I'm hosting the Dutch Telegram room, but sometimes it's a necessity to use Telegram. Is there any option in the near future that we can use, for example, a comment box on another user profile or a comment box on my own profile that somebody can leave a message behind, right? So that we can enable more communication across the great community that we have.
Yes, absolutely. Initially, our approach was that we didn't want to build in any messaging, because there are obviously a significant amount of tools out there, whether it's Discord or Telegram. But there has been an overwhelming number of requests from the community for some form of messaging within the app. That would include things like the ability to add friends, and you could then message those friends. Or, for example, if someone had a listing in the market, you might be able to say, haha, you're dreaming. I'm never going to pay that price, but I'll offer you this. So there will be a deeper level of inter-fan communication in the app coming in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Do you want to, while you're here, Droy, do you want to just share the URL of your Telegram group in case any of our Dutch community want to join?
It's thank you, Rhys. It's Ecomi Netherlands. We host a little group of really true Omi fans and Dutch people. So we're always willing to help and asking questions of the community or translate it into Dutch. You can find us or text me Droy, same as my name here, on Telegram, and I will guide you guys on. Perfect. So thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you very much. We we are definitely amassing quite a number of language groups. So it's good to be able to point people to these resources, and thank you for obviously managing that as well. Alex, we might throw to a couple more pre-submitted questions.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then we'll come back to the floor.
This question came from a few people, and it was actually a perfect segue. Quite a different number of language groups. What are the plans, or what's the timeline for potential language, multi-language support in the app?
Yeah, I know that is a highly requested feature. I don't have a timeline on that at the moment. We've got a number of massive projects on at the moment, such as Gem to Fiat, the Immutable migration, and a whole bunch of other things. However, in saying that, the app has been designed with language files. So when we do reach that point, it is really just a matter of getting the translation done and then giving the user the option in their settings to choose what language they want. However, the other sort of, I won't really say blocker, but it just adds another extra step into our development process as well, that whenever we roll out a new feature, we'll then have to get everything translated. And at the moment, we're developing at quite a rapid rate, just to make sure that the offering that we put out there is in line with what the community wants. So now that that's sort of starting to become a little bit more under control, we're not sort of having to rush out these updates every week. We'll be putting that back on the radar. So just leave that one with me. Apologies, it hasn't rolled out yet, but I know it is a much requested feature.
It's okay. I'll continue to occasionally fumble my way through some Spanish tweets in the future.
You'll probably be fluent by the end of the year, Alex.
De nada, familia. Okay, well, let's move on to Ty asks, does the market open for everybody at the same time on drop days? It seems like I've lost the leading bid in auctions because I've been locked out while the clock kept ticking and others had access.
The market basically just is either open or the market is either closed. So there is no staggering of who can come in and who can get it. There could be a small delay, as the market comes back online, and that sort of propagates around the world. But really, from the back end point of view or the development point of view, it's really just an on-off switch. So there's no special treatment for anyone. And as I've mentioned previously, the market coming on and offline is purely based on drop volume. So something sells out in 5 seconds, and then the load on the server starts to diminish, say 10 minutes after that, then the market will automatically come online. But sometimes, that the server load might be, very high for say 30 minutes or 40 minutes after the drop. So it's the market coming online is very much dictated by that.
Cool. And a follow-up to that, have we considered maybe pausing auction end times while the market is down?
They actually are paused.
Okay.
when the market is down. I believe that for the auctions are extended for the period of time that the market is offline. Obviously, it would be a little bit unfair if your auction finished while the market was closed. So I'm almost certain that feature's in place.
Okay, great. I've had a few questions about that in the past, so it's good to know that maybe people just need to hard refresh the app or whatever the case it may be. One last one from me for now, and then we'll go back to the stage. I found this one really interesting, mainly because I'm interested in it myself. So consider this a selfish cosign. Squirkle Kid asks, would you ever sell digital animation cells, for instance, like the old hand-drawn production cells, but with new animated movies or shows? You could have a blind box for a movie where every frame is a kind of a 1/1 NFT. Buyers would get a unique NFT, and then you sell like 100,000 plus. Collectors can buy their favorite moment. So essentially, art, 2D art, but it's an animation cell, but you own that particular cell, or I'm sure that can be translated into any number of use cases, but I thought that was an interesting case.
Yeah, and That is a great idea. Even in the physical world of collecting, in fact, I'm almost certain that I've seen like 1,000 or 5,000 film sales down at David's house. So I know it is something that is very, very collectible. Now, the great thing about the VeVe platform is, really we can roll out whatever type of collectible digital asset that we want to or need to. As you guys know, we started off with the 3D collectibles. Now we've moved into comics. There will be, one-of-one artworks coming at some point in the future. And it could be a very natural progression with some of the licensors that we're working with, that we could move into, maybe 100,000 film sales, with each one being a one-of-one. No confirmation on that, but as it is a very desirable collectible item in the physical world, I would certainly hope that we'd see something like that in the future.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Rhys, back to the stage.
Perfect. We'll throw back to the floor. And just for anybody who may have recently joined us, we are sort of switching between some pre-submitted questions and questions from the floor. And I will try to bring up a good mix of some of our OGs and some people that I don't recognize, just so that everybody has a voice. But on that note, Kay, welcome to the stage. What is this week's conspiracy, good sir?
Hi, Rhys, Dan, everyone. Yeah, so conspiracy theories. Well, not so much conspiracy, but I did catch Dan on the Let's Do Lunch AMA quite recently, so that was quite nice. Because Dan managed to answer half my questions.
Fantastic.
The half that he did, the half that he didn't answer was when Pokemon, but we can park that for now. But yeah, the question that I had asked on that one was with regards to the VeVe-verse and gamification, and specifically on the topic of Wieldy Games offers some kind of Omi burn, and then Dan's face was just like, absolutely. That's literally all I remember, and everyone just got super hyped after that. So yeah, just following on from that, I know that you guys have the Omi utility article coming out. I was just wondering if you could provide any sort of additional information in terms of what kind of, I guess, what could possibly contribute to more Omi burn with regards to the gaming side, or is the burn going to be significant in comparison to like the secondary market burn? Just any sort of information regarding it, if you had anything else.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm surprised there's no conspiracy theories this week. That's the first. So yeah, now just to touch on the gamification. So I think the first thing that I'd like to just reiterate is that ultimately the VeVe-verse will start off as a social area, and within that, basically, you will have your own home, which is a hugely extended version of the showrooms as you have now, with a lot more tools in there for you to place objects, adjust lighting. You can add different levels, different rooms, and so it's going to be more around that. And then there will be these sort of larger centralized areas within the VeVe-verse, like, I don't know, VeVe City or whatever we call it, where you'll be able to go and do social things with the community. Now, when it comes to the gamification, ultimately we do want to add that in there. I mean, my dream is that part of the VeVe-verse, you go over to the VeVe racetrack, and then you can bust out your Ecto 1 or your DeLorean, and then you can race around there, and there'll be sort of like a leaderboard and that type of thing. I can hear in my mind Trevor rolling his eyes already. But when it comes to gamification, it can be quite complex. I mean, even the simplest game, there can be a lot of mechanics around it. So I don't want to say or promise that there is going to be massive gamification, especially right at the beginning. But obviously, as the VeVe-verse evolves, in the same way that the app does, we know gamification to some degree is very high on people's list, and it's a huge driver or retention tool to bring people back into the VeVe-verse. So it will happen, but just don't expect massive gamification to come out kind of on day one. The VeVe-verse is going to be rolled out in different sections. Starting off with your really what is kind of like a showroom V3, or basically the showroom on steroids. And then from there, we'll begin to open up other areas of the VeVeverse that people can enter into. Now, when it comes to the Omi burn, so as I mentioned earlier, really anything within the VeVeverse that the company doesn't have to pay royalties, or all of those other kind of costs that the company has to bear, those items will be available for sale in Omi. So like land, that could be avatars which maybe have non-branded items, and a whole range of other things. So the idea really is to, as we start to implement this Omi utility, it is primarily about burning. So if you were to buy something through the VeVeverse or buy some land, that Omi is not going to come back to the company. It's going straight to the burn wallet and out of existence. So yeah, that's all I'll say on the topic for now, and there'll be some more information in the article that we'll release shortly.
Oh wow, yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that was a lot more than what I was expecting. But yeah, awesome. So just one quick thing. Someone asked a question about accessibility earlier. I know on Ascendex and certain exchanges, if you're making a spot market purchase, either I think like greater than 5% or less than 5% of like what the current market value is, you get a prompt that says, this is above or below 5%. Are you sure you want to proceed? Maybe in VeVe, if we could have like either the last sold price or the median price, the price that you're listing at is like maybe 20% above or below either way. It might just give you a prompt saying, your price is like 20% higher or greater than whether the median price or last sold price is. Do you want to proceed? Something simple like that, I think, would be quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that note, so there are two features coming back into the app, hopefully very soon. One, it will be when you're looking at a collectible, whether you own it or whether you're looking at it in the market, it will display the floor price on the collectible view screen. And if you own that collectible, it will also show the last price that you paid. And yeah, you touch on a good point, Kay, that I see some very random purchases go through the market. For example, like a very high mint common going for like 10,000. I'm sure there's something suspect going on there, but yeah, and that we will be introducing something like that. Some indication if you're selling it too low or selling it too high. That was actually the whole purpose of there is a feature in the app now called appraisal. Unfortunately, that feature is completely broken and has always been broken. So yes, so we did have good intentions with that one for the exact reason that you bring up. So the user has an understanding of, is this Marvel #1 worth 15 grand or is it worth 1.5 grand? So yes, definitely on the roadmap.
Awesome, thank you.
Perfect. That might be the most extensive answer you've got.
Let's do a quick. Sorry.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Go for it, Alex.
Sorry. I was just going to say, let's do a quick room reset. We don't have Dan for too much longer, so I just want to make sure that everybody's sticking to the one question at a time, so we can try to race through as many as we can. I think Rhys, do you have any more time after Dan pops off to stay on and answer a few more questions if we don't get to everything here?
Yeah, I probably do. I think we'll cover the wider breadth of topics anyway, so we'll see where we end up. Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem at all. But okay, on that note,
I'll go ahead and dive into just a couple more of the user submitted questions via Twitter, and then we'll get back to the stage. Okay, this is in regards to Omi utility interoperability questions. Boomloot asks, are you guys going to move all 750 billion Omi to Immutable, including the burns?
Yes, is the answer to that. Basically, we're really just doing a full migration from one chain to another chain.
Great. And just on that, just to extend that, there's that we do have 97 billion or thereabouts locked in smart contracts. Will they be staying behind, Dan? I assume we can't access those as there.
Yeah, there's not much we can do there. My plan is to stay alive for 37,000 years. So when that actually does unlock, I'll be a rich man.
You'll be there, Lord of the VeVe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's good to know as well. One other question I do get on that note, which some people may be wondering, once we're across onto Immutable, will the burn wallet actually be a burn wallet? You know, there was some early concerns about the way we had things set up.
Yes, it will 100% be a burn wallet.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully that answers things for people too. All yours, Alex.
Okay, quickly. Scott asks, will we have OMI/ETH pairings on new exchanges?
That really comes down to the exchanges. Obviously, that's the ideal pairing that we'd like to go for, but often it's not a decision that is made by us. So we'll really just have to wait and see there.
Okay, and then one last one from me back to kind of app features. Juan asks, when can we use the app offline? I assume for AR photos and digital comic reading.
Yeah, so there's a lot of technology in the app that has to link back to the server. Right now, running the app offline is a fairly complicated upgrade. And can pose a number of different problems. Like, for example, would have to limit any kind of access to the market or anything that requires, any sort of live data. However, items that are basically downloadable content, like, the 3D assets that come down, and we're doing an upgrade to the comics now. So rather than each page being streamed, each time you open the comic, it will basically download the pages as some form of bundle, and then they'll be able to sit on your device, and hopefully you'll be able to read them offline as the first instance.
Right on.
It's great news.
And I like how this is becoming like a semi-regular thing now. Uncle Jeremy has decided to grace us with his presence again. It's like a sitcom. Hey, it's Uncle Jeremy. Mr. Power, how are you?
That's right. Uncle Jeremy's here, everyone.
Hey, Jeremy.
How's it going? I'm just here because I love the community so much, and I understand the rationale and everything that you guys are doing. I've been doing it from a physical space for the last 20 years. So to see it done in digital is joyful for me.
Is this a transition you kind of foresaw coming before we came along, Jeremy? Is that kind of where your head was at?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this, not the first time I met, Dan and David and Al, and I told this story last time, but I'll do it again because that was a perfect question for this. I met them about 2.5, 3 years ago, and they came in and showed me this concept. And my first thought was, there's no way in hell that's going to be viable. So
I remember that.
I mean, but I will say it didn't take long, and certainly it makes so much sense. The more you understand the world that we live in now with NFTs and blockchain and collectible digital assets, just make a tremendous amount of sense, I think, to everyone now.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, and I think we've really seen that those same value propositions, the same things that people attach their own value to, really do translate into the digital realm. So it's very satisfying to watch it play out.
As long as you execute well, and what you guys have done has been mind-boggling with no marketing and really not pushing the word out, because you certainly were in beta for quite some time.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yes, we do.
For me, that's really just a shout out to the community. I mean, we never anticipated the uptake, and I think I went into YouTube the other day and I typed in VeVe, and I think I was just scrolling for like 5 minutes of all the videos and the content out there. So honestly, big shout out to the community. It's you guys who have been instrumental in helping VeVe get to where it is today. And yeah, we love hearing the feedback. And actually, on that note, I don't think I mentioned it last time, but if anyone does have any features or feature requests, there is a channel in the VeVe Discord I believe it's called feature requests, that we do keep quite a close eye on. So feel free to do a brain dump in there if you've got any great ideas.
I might just, on that note, suggest that if you do share some ideas, maybe scroll up a little bit and just make sure you're not repeating what a few other people may have said.
Great point.
Yes, but definitely keep those coming.
hundreds.
Jeremy, do you have any questions?
No.
Jeremy,
listen, the only question I have is, actually, it's just a request. Don't put me out of business, please. Thank you.
Hey, well, you're
just give us your
you're just going to have to join the VeVe family.
Let's go.
That's it. Wonderful. Oh, well, pleasure chatting to you, Uncle Jeremy. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Yeah, I'll be back.
All right, we might throw to Breezy Crypto, and then Brad, and then BER.
Yeah, hi guys. I was wondering if you're gonna have anything that sort of lets you display these collectibles or comics in your room. Like, I know that there's one company that does these sort of NFT screens where you can have your NFT on a screen. I think that would look really cool for something like the Pride, or comics where you can sort of choose which cover to display and maybe even read them on that sort of screen to hang on your wall. And I was also thinking, like, for the collectibles, if there was any thought of, and this might be something way further down the line, I don't know much about this, but doing, like, having the option to have a hologram.
Yeah, great question. So David and I have, in the early days, looked into quite a lot of hardware for that exact reason. The digital frames are far more accessible these days, and to be honest, even a TV can be utilized in this day and age as well as a digital frame of sorts. So definitely not in 2021, but it is something we'll more than likely revisit in 2022. Whether we bring something out that is a piece of physical hardware, I don't know, or whether we, perhaps develop an app or whatever we need to, so you can link your collectibles or comics into the digital frame. I mean, I also personally think that would be very cool. I'd love to, walk around my house and see my comic book covers on the wall in the same way that I, set up my my existing physical comics. The hologram one, it just comes down to technology. I mean, we're not going to develop that kind of tech ourselves because we're, purely digital. However, there is a bunch of hologram type products that we did investigate. I think it was last year that were pretty good as well. And I think it's really just about, making sure that whatever product, if we do choose one, it's affordable, it's accessible, and it produces a really good product. Some of the holographic stuff is still a little bit, not quite where it should be at the moment. And you never know, AR glasses might even come out before that kind of technology really starts to take off. So. It's definitely on the list, but nothing too immediate. We've definitely got a few more things on the boiler at the moment.
Nice, yeah, sweet.
Cool. Thank you very much for your question. Just on that, Dan, I mean, in terms of personal opinion, do you think that AR supersedes holographics? Like, do you see that being the direction of this kind of technology?
Well, I mean, anyone who's heard any of my early AMAs knows that I'm a huge believer and also very hopeful that, one day we'll all be wearing some form of AR glasses or contact lens that we can walk into our house to see all of our cool VeVe collectibles scattered all around. Yeah, I think my personal view is we all know that the tech giants are working on AR glasses across the board, for Microsoft's HoloLens and the forever rumored Apple AR glasses.
Forever rumored, yeah.
So yeah, I do think that you know, I mean, when something like that comes out, it kind of supersedes the need for a hologram. I guess to start off with, the glasses are probably going to be fairly expensive, so not everyone is going to have them. So, you know, there could be a window for holograms, but yeah, I personally think that'll be superseded by some kind of cool wearables AR.
Yeah, I think that's the camp that I'm in at the moment for sure. So, good bit of insight there. Brad, if you're up here and microphone engaged.
How's it going? Before I ask my question, shout out my boy Cavell Anderson in the audience. That guy's the GOAT. But
he is.
I guess my question would be is that, you know, there's no secret that, you know, Omi's a startup. We're already doing millions in revenue. And with the growth of VeVe, it makes sense for the older things that came out in the beginning, such as the unicornos and the mermicorns, to go up in price. And I say this because, you know, there's only like 6,000 each for like the commons or whatever. And when we look at OpenSea, we look at CryptoPunks and say the bait monkeys, it's really just the same object with like different color variations. And these things are still pretty cheap. So are people sleeping on them, would you say?
I mean, it's difficult to know really. The you know, the market, the floor value of any collectible really comes down to how many people are desiring it. But I also have the same opinion of what you do, that generally anything that comes out, you know, like 5 years from now, anything from season 1 will more than likely be quite sought after, because we were minting much lower numbers back then. And you know, often in the collectible world, those sort of first appearances or early editions do often garner a higher price. But really, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, if the Mermicornos are cheap now, geez, snap them up.
Sweep the floor.
Quickly goes to the market to buy all the Mermicornos.
Yeah, all Mermicornos. Yeah. For sure. Well, that's a good spot. Did you have any other follow-ups there, Brad? Or does that help your?
One Pokemon.
Who knows?
That's twice today. That's pretty good for him. Yeah.
You shouldn't have even given him that opportunity to ask that, because
I know.
you said one question per person.
I lined it up. That's my bad. All right, thank you, sir. Burr, BR. Is that what we've got up here? If you
thank you for having me up again, Gerald. And actually, it's Black Excellence is Real, and I'm up again. I just changed my photo. I wigged out last time, but I actually did want to ask. I know that Yan DNA from Pack Protocol is coming out. Is there anything in the pipeline to have to work with that to make sure that the NFTs are secure and safe? And then the other thing is Pokemon.
Great, thanks, Brad. You started off a train now. So, I mean, in terms of the security, that obviously within VeVe we store a significant amount of value for our users, and that's holding the NFTs that they own, or gems that are in their wallet, or Omi that is storing. So, we have significant security practices in place already, and we would really only look to integrate other solutions if they provided something beyond what we were doing now, which we don't have any immediate plans for. But obviously, as these new protocols come out, and if they do offer some extended functionality that we think will benefit the users and then that the users want, then we're more than open to look into that.
Well, thank you all very much, and as always, we appreciate you from the community standpoint. And I think you guys have given the world a great gift. If not, you've given my niece a lot of cool things to play with.
Well, I'm glad she's enjoying it. That's great news.
Cheers, gentlemen. Have a great one.
All right. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay. I think, Alex, did you want to throw back to any more user-submitted questions before our last?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Brian asks, can we get the same countdown format on auctions just like the one before the comic drops?
Yes, we will be. The market auction needs to go through a little bit of an overhaul, and as part of that, we will be introducing the more granular countdown. So you'll be able to see that it's going down to seconds. It'll be more live, and a couple of other features.
Great. And then, just to point out, we are in sausage party territory again. So can my ladies please request to come up on stage so we can
it's
get
hard
some
to pick
voice.
which ones.
Yeah. I know we have Women X VeVe now, thanks to Wendy, Claire, and company. But yeah, we'd love to have you as part of these AMAs as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Yeah, go ahead, back to stage.
Okay, perfect. So we've probably got about 10 minutes left, guys, and we'll try to get through as many of these as we can. As Alex mentioned earlier, if we can try to limit these to sort of one or two reasonably quick questions, but we might throw to Mr. Traps Wellington.
Hello, everybody. Sausage number one here. Just wanted to. I was thinking about the VeVe-verse and NFT staking, and perhaps a leveling feature. While you're staking the NFTs, that sort of levels them up, and perhaps you guys would name it the Trap House Gym, where people can stake their NFTs, make them stronger, level them up.
The Trap House Gym.
Which
love
might.
the name.
Thank you. It's trademarked. And it could provide things with the leveling up, like access to more accessories, things like that in the future. I don't know. Let's say you have something like a Pikachu that you stake or something, and it can level up. I think that would be pretty cool. Get it a surfboard or something.
Yeah, that definitely is a cool idea, and we absolutely will have some form of staking. And how that's going to all play out will be revealed in the documents that we'll be putting out in the coming weeks.
Cool. Yeah. If it becomes called the Trap House Gym, just send me an email so I know ahead of time.
Well, how about I'll buy the name off you for a Donny.
Sold. That's nice doing business.
Beautiful. All right. We might throw to Claire, seeing as we have some ladies up here.
Hi. Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank the whole Ecomi team for all the support they've been given to VeVe Women, and obviously to Rhys for coming on to the stream. And we're really looking forward to Alex on Saturday. And the support we've had from the community as well has been absolutely amazing. And there are women reaching out to us saying that they would not have had the confidence to interact in the community if they hadn't have seen this. So to me, it's been worth it just to hear that sort of feedback. So thank you. And I think it's a credit to you as a company that you do help us the way that you do. And it's really much appreciated. And the community you have is probably the best I've ever been part of. And that's all thanks to everybody that feels that they have a voice and everything else in the community. So my question is, when will Dan come on our stream?
I was literally waiting for that. When you hang on, I know where this is going.
But also, when does season 2 end and season 3 begin?
Yes. So to your first question, PM me. I'm sure we can work something out. Season 2 ends on October 15, so get ready for season 3. It's not far off now.
And are we having a Todd party?
Well, we'll have to talk to the Todd father about that.
I'll have a Rizzo one now. I've got a Rizzo, so it's okay. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. No worries. And look, I just want to throw that right back at you, Claire. I mean, so much appreciation to yourself and everybody in the community, but for all our women, the Women of VeVe collective that have stood up lately and are really enabling that voice for more of our community. So a big thank you to you and all the women that are involved with that stream. It is very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, and we might just throw to, who have we got up here? Dancing Need Arena, you are good to go, I think. Or did you just get moved to the crowd?
No, she's there. Dancing.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. She might have just come back.
Hello.
Maybe the microphone not quite working. We might throw to Granola and then come back.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my question. I'm a brand new user. I just joined in February. And I was curious. I saw that Jurassic Park was on the website and was just curious if T-Rex would come with a steering wheel or maybe dice.
Boo! Boo, Granola.
Well, if Trevor gets his way, it'll be a drivable T-Rex. So that's what we're aiming for, but we'll just have to see how that plays out. Slightly better than the steering wheel.
Pressure.
And then do you think dice would become an accessory for that drivable T-Rex?
Oh, we have to have fluffy dice. I mean,
yes.
there's no doubt about it. Yeah. You can hang it off one of the arms.
Thank you guys so much. I just wanted to come up and have a lull with you.
No.
Hey, and thanks, Granola, for all you do. For those who don't know, Granola is one of our chief mods on the Discord server and always hosts drop day live chats and gives tips and tricks every drop day 2 hours before drop time. And your efforts are very much appreciated, sir.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the work that you guys do and everything that you do for the community. It's truly heartwarming, and we love you all.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, really appreciate it. Ariel Swan, if you are up here and would like to throw a question.
Hi guys. Yes, thank you. So I guess I just wanted to let you know that I think your delivery has been amazing within the VeVe app. I work in IT and I'm always really impressed by how quickly you get out upgrades and how good they are. I know there can sometimes be complaints, but in general, I think it's amazing. So I guess my question to you is, how do you work as a team and what's happening on the ground, especially for your developers?
Number one, complaints. Don't look at any of them.
Just the odd little.
Yeah, the odd little one. Yeah. Thanks for the shout out. We obviously, as a technology team, we do work very hard. Luckily, we're still quite a small team, so that means that we can be very agile. And as I mentioned earlier, we're always running or developing multiple concurrent upgrades or new features at any one time. And when we see some feedback coming from the community, like, oh, your comics suck because they can't tilt, we generally jump on those things and start to prioritize them a bit quicker. But basically, the way the team works on the ground is we work 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, and a shitload of caffeine. Is basically how it goes.
Yep.
Fair enough. Thank you.
But thank you for the
we are, we are all remote as well. Which,
really? Wow.
All the vast
and is it a global team?
Yeah, it is now, isn't it? It's pretty. We've got most bases covered, I think.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for your time and your
questions.
Thanks, guys. Very much appreciated. Dancing Need Arena, I believe you are back.
Hi, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we've got you now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me up here. Long-time listener, first-time speaker. First off, I would like to say if any of the team needs an assistant, I'm more than glad to quit my job and work for VeVe. But also, I know it might be too early for this, but I had kind of a general question about the land in the VeVe-verse once we get to that point. My main question is, are you guys looking into having enough for everybody that would want one? Are you guys going to kind of like mint a lot of those just to kind of ensure that everyone gets one or gets a chance to get one? Or would it be kind of like a limited thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the land will be limited because effectively each piece of land will be an NFT in its own right. So for that reason, it will be limited. And the land that you'll be able to purchase will be around specific areas within the VeVe-verse. However, if you don't actually have to have any land. you can still exist in your showroom, or your home can exist in what we call the ether, which basically means that you exist in the VeVeverse, but you don't necessarily. Your home isn't necessarily placed on a piece of land. So while we will calculate the numbers fairly carefully on how much land is out there, we do also want to make it a limited edition item. Obviously, if you manage to get in early enough, or you manage to win the auction to get the land, that's in a way it's another form of a collectible. However, in saying that, as we open up different parts of the VeVeverse, you will be able to buy additional land around those areas. So even if you were to miss the first land sale, there will, as the VeVeverse expands, there will more than likely be more land coming into the market.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the question. So we'll just take a couple more, guys. We might throw to Alex and then to Lisa, and then we might finish off with Brandy. So Alex,
hey guys,
yep.
thanks for having me out.
No worries. Thanks for being here.
My question is, managed the licensor.
You're breaking up a bit there, mate. You might have to say that question again.
Sorry, so my question is to do with transition in blockchain.
Sorry, Alex. We're not really getting your question. You're breaking up quite a bit. We'll move on to the next person. We'll come back to you maybe if you can get somewhere with better reception.
Yep, I think that's a good move. So Lisa, we might go to you, and then we'll come back to you, Alex.
Hi, everybody.
So here's perfect. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, guys. I'm Lisa. I'm in Ireland, so it's lovely to talk to you all tonight. My question is, obviously you're working with some huge brands, and I'm just wondering, because VeVe is now synonymous with the NFT craze, can we expect any VeVe own brand NFTs? And also, I'm just wondering if you're speaking to Blue Sky Studios.
Sorry, what studios was it?
Blue Sky, Ice Age.
I will have to check in with the Chief License Officer, aka David Yu, on that one. Yeah. And sorry, what was the first part of the question?
I'm just wondering if you have VeVe NFTs, your own.
Oh, yes.
Identity.
Yeah, so we probably won't create our own IP to any great deal. Really, we are in the business of working with these major brands to help them enter into this NFT and digital collectible world. However, in saying that, we will be releasing a whole range of accessories that ultimately we will be designing and creating. Which I guess effectively will be a sort of a VeVe brand. And there might be a few other things, like, maybe you can add a cool VeVe logo to your showroom, or a big V, or maybe like the Omi O. You might be able to add those kind of items. So I guess technically they will be VeVe released, but we probably won't go down the path of trying to create our own IP, like the next Batman or the next Iron Man. We'll leave that to the professionals.
Adding a David Yu hairline to your collectibles.
Well, we all know that's
number one request.
The highest request of anything.
Yeah, perfect. Does that cover your question there, Lisa?
It does. And then if I could just say one last comment, just when somebody was spoken about the nighttime the black and the white screens, I'm just wondering if this isn't already on your list, could you add auto rotate as well?
Yes, the auto rotate is definitely coming for various sections like the showrooms and anywhere else that is applicable.
Super, thank you.
No worries, thank you. Okay, Alex, is your hand in the air? Have you got some better reception?
Right, is that any better?
Sounds better.
Good. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So my question is migration of the NFT in Immutable. So
your sound is still chopping out a bit there.
Spoke too soon. Sorry,
sorry
Alex.
Yeah, we might maybe just shoot me a message with your question, and
I'll try. Let me try to take my
as soon
AirPods
as I
out.
can. Yeah, that might help.
Right, is that any better?
Yes.
It sounds it.
Cool.
Well, yes.
Yeah, good. So so with the migration of the NFTs onto the blockchain on Immutable X, so obviously certain licensors are going to allow the sale on OpenSea and the total ownership of the assets. Now, with the licensors that don't agree to that, are they going to be kept off the blockchain for the time being, or will they move across and be held back in some other way?
No, so everything is minted on chain. So everything we create is an NFT, and I wouldn't say that the licensors who don't want to do it, I would actually, my perspective on it is that it is something that is going to happen. We already see massive demand out there for it, and these licensors are smart people. They see that OpenSea does 3 billion in revenue in a month. And their job is ultimately to make money out of the IP that they own. So, personally, I believe that we are going to see interoperability across the board. It might just take longer, obviously, for some of these more sensitive IPs. But yeah, to go back to the first part of your question is that yes, everything will be an NFT. You will be able to look it up. There'll just be certain restrictions on some licensors, whether you can send that NFT out of the app or not.
Perfect, that's great, thank you. Just one last quick thing. So I know obviously you have licensors that you can't announce yet, but is there rough numbers on how many you can't announce?
It is between 0 and 1,000.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought you were going to ask when Pokemon. Then I'm a little bit disappointed.
I'm hoping for that as well, but we'll see. Hey. Thanks for your time, guys. Take care.
Indeed. No worries. All right, we might go to Mr. Randy, and that may be the last one of the day. Dan, I think this might wrap it up for you. Is that right?
I could probably do a couple more.
Okay, all right. Let's go, Randy, and then I'll bring a couple more up.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on. You guys are great. A couple people might know this from the YouTube channel. I did want to run it by you first, just in case you didn't. It does sound a little extra, but I am going to try to get a ticket for the Met Gala next year, and I do want to wear either an Ecomi tux, suit, or dress, whichever you guys would prefer, if that is something I can do. Get your blessing for.
Maybe we can do a community poll whether you wear a tux or a dress.
All right, I did not hear a no, so I'm going to assume that I can.
I'm sure it's something we can continue to discuss.
If it's a tux, it has to be a Dumb and Dumber tux. Just FYI.
Okay, and would you guys rather me have Ecomi, VeVe, Omi, or all three on there?
I'm just saying, go for the hat trick.
Okay.
Yep. I vote for the hat trick.
All right. All right, cover that.
And just as a quick note, Randy, thanks for all your videos and everything. I tune in quite often, so it's great to see another solid member of the community. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm about to go live. It wasn't 3 minutes, but you said you could take a couple more, so I'm going to change it to like 15 minutes from now. I'm going to go live doing a big recap on this.
Nice. I'm sure people can catch that. And just on that note, Noah will do a recap on Twitter as well, in case anyone is looking for some answers after the fact.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I love you all. All right, bye.
Thanks, Randy. Really appreciate it. Jess85.
Hey, guys. Just want to give you guys a quick shout out. You guys are doing amazing. We've been having so much fun with everything VeVe, especially with the women of VeVe. I do have a question, and I'm sure you guys have probably already been asked this, and it's not when. I want to know when is Ito coming out? Like, I have been waiting forever and a day with the wedding dress, and he's not coming to the altar. I need to know when he's going to drop.
Edo. Who's Edo?
Is that a?
Did you forget about?
No, I can't forget about Edo because I get reminded every day by some sort of private message on Twitter. Yeah, so I mean, no promises, but I'm hoping that Edo will be out before the end of season 2.
AKA.
I'll take it as a promise.
Hashtag soon. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jess.
That's exciting. Thank you. Okay, Irish Viva. Viva, you're up, sir.
Hey, what's the story? How's it going from Ireland?
Really well,
Hey,
mate.
man.
How are you?
Cool. Just one quick thing before I ask my question. So, a lot of people were whinging and moaning on Twitter about the drop, saying all the bots got the Avengers comic and all the bots got the secret rares. But that's nonsense. So, I got one comic, and I'm one of the lucky ones that got the secret rare from the Avengers comic. So, I'm not a robot.
Amazing.
I am not a robot.
Oh, that's
No.
Yeah.
Just to go on record.
It's exactly what a robot would say.
Exactly. AI is pretty good these days, so you don't know.
Yeah, well, I was able to pick the traffic lights in the capture. So my question is this: so Q3, the big success story was comics, which is amazing to see. Can in Q4 can the collectibles get a bit of love and attention? Is there anything you have in your back pocket that you can share with us for Q4 and collectibles, and specifically remote control vehicles? Is that in the pipeline for Q4?
I've been waiting for that one to come up again. I can't say specifically what is going to be coming out, although I can say that it's cool. But as our collectibles evolve, as the OGs know, back in the day we had the all the Batman Black and White range, which all still looks amazing, but they are sort of static models that have come directly from the the physical world statue. But as the product evolves, you've seen that we've now got a lot of really cool animated characters and more interactivity. So it is my plan to make sure that we continue that trajectory. And I hope that in the future, we can have a lot more fun with controllable assets. Like I mentioned earlier, and this is no confirmation, being able to drive a T-Rex around, or if you had a Captain America, you could make them run around the floor and do some cool things. Ultimately, that's where we want to end up. So just to add more and more utility and more features and just more fun with the collectibles. So yeah, that's basically my answer.
Cool, thanks Emil. One really quick thing, you don't even really have to answer this, it's not kind of a question, but I was watching on Netflix The Toys That Made Us, that show. It's like reliving kind of the toys.
I know.
And I was looking at and I was thinking with the comics, they're an existing entity that people can latch onto, and they have done, and obviously the value done spiked. And I was thinking like existing entities in the toy world. So let's say you had your Star Wars Series 1 and you had your Luke Skywalker. Imagine if it was NFT in the blister pack like it was originally purchased, and you could take them out of the blister pack and play with them and put them back in the blister pack. And I just thought it'd be really cool if you had exact replicas of existing nostalgic toys. Is that something you might have considered? I don't mean
absolutely.
specifically
And,
Star Wars, but just generally.
Yeah, I was just going to say, no confirmation of Star Wars at all.
Just being generally.
But yeah, we have spoken with a number of our licensors about pairing the NFTs with some kind of digital collectible. Nothing has really come to fruition on that front yet, but I personally think it would be awesome if, say for example, the next Batman Black and White that comes out, because I think they only do like 5,000 editions in the physical world, maybe a whole lot more now that they've got a lot more fans through VeVe. But yeah, I personally think what you suggest would be very cool. That I can buy the physical statue, and then within that I get a code for the NFT version of it, and then I can claim that within VeVe. That has been, I think, in our very early pitches to the licensors to have some kind of feature like that. So it would be super cool, but we'll just have to see how it goes on that front.
That's cool. Thanks so much for bringing me up, guys. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for being here. Lenny Gill, I think you were up here earlier actually, and
Yes.
left the stage.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me, and shout out to the VeVe team and the Ecomi team and all the fans here. My question is, are we gonna have any comic books signed by the artists?
Great question, actually. We do have and I think I've touched on this previously, that we will be rolling out like a digital signature feature in the future, which will allow you, for example, if you go to Comic-Con or any of these kind of con events, that you will be able to take your phone up to the artist. Say, for example, let's just say if Jermaine Rogers was there doing signings, you might be able to take your one of your choices rabbits up, and then he can sign that, and then it will be basically bundled with that NFT. So you would then be able to sell that NFT with an official signature from the artist. And our plans are that, again, all of that information is going to be recorded on chain. And then in addition to that, in the physical world of collecting, if you ever go and get something signed, you always have to have a photo or some kind of proof that it was the artist that actually signed it. And this is something that I learned from the Level 9000 collector, aka David. That you always need to have some kind of proof. So basically, the way that system will work is you'll take your collectible up, you'll hit the signature button, a screen will come up allowing the artist to sign on the screen, and at the same time, it will basically prompt them that we're going to take a photo of them, and then all of that information is recorded. So basically, you're getting the signature, you're getting the authenticity. It's all recorded on chain, and then it's associated with the with the NFT. Now that one is still fairly in the scoping phase at the moment, but as collectors, we know that is a huge part of the world of collecting. So it is on the roadmap.
That idea sounds great. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
All right. Have a good one.
Cheers. All right, guys, we might do one more, and then I think we'll wrap it up. Do VeVe Meister, if you are up here.
Oh wow, I'm really on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we've got you, mate.
Cool. Thanks, Rhys. First of all, hello from Germany. 12 points from Germany to all of you guys from VeVe Ecomi. Omi, you guys are doing an amazing job. I can just only imagine how hard you are working, and we appreciate that a lot, especially for the guys behind the scenes that we are not even aware of, right? So first, I just said that, right? So let's go on with the question, but let me introduce myself just really quickly. I'm with the VeVe fam since end of March, and I was so pissed at myself that I'm once again too late to the party, and now I'm realizing it was not that late, right? So we're good, thanks. And just became recently a YouTuber for just a month, so I'm having like 60 subs. I'm not even sure if that's a lot, but I'm trying my best. So I'm just one.
Fantastic.
I'm just one out of 3 YouTubers that I'm aware of for the German speaking community. And I have to ask the question again. It was mentioned, especially to Dan, about language support, multi-language support. So we can't really wait for this to happen because we are lagging behind, in Germany and most of the other non-English native-speaking countries. So my question is, on the roadmap, I know you guys have a lot of priorities, but maybe, to have this still as one of the priorities. And I know you cannot give an exact date, but maybe, will it be before or after the announcement of Pikachu?
Very, very cleverly asked question. I absolutely appreciate the language stuff. So I'm going to see what we can do to get that bumped up the ever-growing priority list, and see if we can hopefully have that in place by the end of the year, or at least a couple of other key languages
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work.
No problem. And just on that, we do have a number of language groups in Telegram. So if anybody is looking for those and you want to jump into the main Ecomi Telegram, our mods there will happily give you those links.
And Rhys,
it may just help you to connect.
did we end up opening different language channels in Discord as well?
We are
haven't
working
yet.
on that.
Perfect.
We are working on that. Yes.
Yeah, great.
But that is in the works. So same again. Please keep an eye out for those language groups coming online at some point in the near future, just so that everybody can find their community within our community, basically. So, all right, guys, I think we might wrap it up there. Now, just before we do, Alex, you are joining the Women of VeVe stream this weekend. Do you have the time and date for that?
Yes, I do. I'm very honored to be joining the Women X VeVe stream on YouTube. That will be 9 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, on Wendy's YouTube channel, I believe, Wendy Cibales, along with Claire and a couple of other well-known females in the community. So I'm really excited to join that. Again, 9 a.m. this Saturday.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll retweet that from VeVe closer to the time, so you guys can set your reminders. And then Noah and I will be cranking on recapping this AMA on an Epic Twitter thread following this AMA. So if you missed anything or you want to hold us to what we've said here in the AMA, you will have paper trail receipts to do so.
Nice. That's what we're calling it now, is it?
The official records.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And look, just on that, to everybody who has tuned into the Women of VeVe stream, big thank you for showing your support. For anyone else who is going to join that stream or that audience, they do a live chat during the stream, so you can ask Alex some questions too. So, I'm just thanking everybody in advance for tuning into that. That's about it on my list, gents. Dan, Alex, Noah, anyone?
Yeah, just
have any final words there?
just to tease it a little bit more, Rhys, I will have some goodies to share during that stream. So incentive.
Incentive indeed.
I might have to tune in.
All right. Yeah. It's time we heckled from the crowd.
There you go.
All right, gents. Big thank you for your time, as always. Big thank you to everyone who joined us today, and we'll be back on in 2 weeks' time for another one.
Thanks so much, everyone. Always appreciate
Thank you very much.
Turning up.
Hashtag
Really
VeVe fan.
That's it. Cheers, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.